And the best news is, it's available to anyone who's willing to take the learning into their own hands.
The best news is it's available to anyone who wants to take the learning into their hands.
So meeting other polyglots helped me realize that it is really crucial to find enjoyment in the process of learning languages.
So meeting with the polyglots, I found out that it's really important to find out enjoyment in the process. So meeting other polyglots helped me realize.
But also, that joy in itself is not enough. If you want to achieve fluency in a foreign language, find enjoyment in the process of learning this. Also, that the joy in itself is not enough. If you want to achieve fluency in a foreign language, you'll also find enjoyment in the process of learning one who's willing to take the learning into their own hands. So meeting other polyglots helped me realize that it is really crucial to find enjoyment in the process of learning languages.
It is really crucial to find enjoyment in the process of learning language.
But also, that joy in itself is not enough.
And also, enjoyment itself is not enough. And also, enjoyment itself is not enough.
If you want to achieve fluency in a foreign language, you'll also need to apply 3 more principles.
If you want to achieve a fluency in a foreign language, you need to achieve 3 more principles. 3 more. You'll also need to apply.
First of all, you'll need effective methods.
First of all, you need effective methods.
If you try to memorize a list of words for a test tomorrow, the words will be stored in your short-term memory, and you'll forget them after a few days.
If you want to memorize a short list of the words for the test tomorrow, the words will be stored in your short-term memory, and you will forget them after the test. If you try to memorize a list of words for a test tomorrow, the words will be stored in your short-term memory, and you'll forget them after a few days.
If you, however, want to keep words long-term, you need to revise them in the course of a few days repeatedly using the so-called spaced repetition.
If you want to memorize words for a long time, you'll need to revise them in a course of day repeatedly. If you, however, want to keep words long term, you need to revise them in the course of few days repeatedly. Revise in the course of day repeatedly using the so-called spaced repetition.
You can use apps which are based on this system, such as Anki or Memrise.
You can use apps which are based on the system such as Anki and Memrise.
Or you can write lists of words in a notebook using the gold list method, which is also very popular with many polyglots.
And you can write a list of words in a notebook using the gold list method, which is also very popular with them. Anki and Memrise? Anki. Anki, Memrise. 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 Gold list method. The author of the golden methods maintains that the method allows you retain up to 30% of the words in your long-term memory. He has also claimed that the process circumvents your short-term memory. You're expected to make no conscious effort to remember words. Craig and Weiss. What is that?
If you're not sure which methods are effective and what is available out there, just check out Polyglot's YouTube channels and websites and get inspiration from them.
If you are not sure which method is effective and what apps are available, just go check out Polyglot's website. If you're not sure which method are effective and what is available out there, just check out Polyglot's YouTube channels and websites and get inspiration from them Polyglot. Polyglots. Polyglot's channel. I'm Tony and this is my language blog. Enjoy.
If it works for them, it will most probably work for you too.
If it works for them, it'll work for you probably. If it works for them, it'll probably work for you too.
The third principle to follow is to create a system in your learning. We're all very busy and no one really has.
The first system. The third principle to follow is to create a system in your learning.
Has time to learn a language today.
We are all very busy and no time to learn. No one really has time to learn a language today.
But we can create that time if we just plan a bit ahead.
We can create the time if you just plan a bit ahead. Plan a bit ahead.
Wake up 15 minutes earlier than you normally do.
Can you wake up 15 minutes earlier than you normally did? Can you wake up 15 minutes earlier than you normally do?
That would be the perfect time to revise some vocabulary.
That would be the perfect time to revise some vocabulary.
Can you listen to your podcast on your way to work while driving?
Can you listen to your podcast on your way to work or driving? Can you listen to a podcast on your way to work or while driving?
That would be great to get some listening experience.
That would be great to get some listening experience.
There are so many things we can do without even planning that extra time.
There's plenty of things we can do even without planning that extra time. There are so many things we can do without even planning that extra time.
As listening to podcasts on our way to work, or
such as listening to podcasts on our way to work,
doing our household chores,
or doing our household chores.
The important thing is to create a plan in the learning.
The important thing is to create a plan in the learning.
I will practice speaking every Tuesday and Thursday with a friend for 20 minutes.
I always practice speaking every Tuesday and Thursday with a friend. I always practice speaking every Tuesday and Thursday with a friend for 20 minutes.
I will listen to a YouTube video while having breakfast.
I'll listen to a YouTube video while I'm having breakfast.
If you create a system in your learning, you don't need to find that extra time because it will become a part of your everyday life.
If you find a system in your learning, it becomes part of your life. What? If you create a system in your learning, you don't need to find an extra time. Find an extra because it's part of your daily life. Because it'll become a part of your daily life. It'll become part of your daily life. System.
And finally, if you want to learn a language fluently, you need also a bit of patience.
Finally, if you want to learn a language fluently, you also need to be more patient. Finally, if you want to learn a language fluently, you need also a bit of patience.
It's not possible to learn a language within 2 months.
It's not possible to learn a language within 2 months.
But it's definitely possible to make a visible improvement in 2 months if you learn in small chunks every day in a way which you enjoy.
But it's possible to see a small visual improvements if you really enjoying it. What? It's possible to, but it's definitely possible to make a visible improvement in 2 months if you learn in small chunks every day. In small chunks every day in a way that you enjoy. If you learn in small chunks every day in a way that you enjoy.
And there is nothing that motivates us more than our own success.
And there's nothing that motivates us more than our success. Nothing that motivates us more than our success.
I vividly remember the moment when I understood the first joke in German when watching Friends.
I vividly remember the first moment when I understood a German joke in France. I vividly remember the moment when I understood the first joke in German when watching Friends.
I was so happy and motivated that I just kept on watching that day 2 more episodes.
I just so captivated and motivated that I kept watching 2 more episodes. I was so happy and motivated that I just kept on watching that day 2 more episodes.
And as I kept watching, I had more and more of those moments of understanding, these little victories, and step by step.
As I kept on watching, I had more and more of this little success, and as I kept watching, I had more and more of those moments of understanding, those little victories, and step by step.
I got to a level where I could use the language freely and fluently to express anything.
I got to a level where I could use the language freely and fluently to express anything, and I got to a level.
This is a wonderful feeling.
This is a wonderful feeling.
I can't get enough of that feeling, and that's why I learn a language every 2 years.
I can't get enough of that feeling. That's why I learn new languages every 2 minutes, 2 years. I can't get enough of the feeling, and that's why I learn a language every 2 years. I can't get enough of the feeling. I can't get enough of the feeling.
So this is the whole polyglot secret. Find effective methods which you can use systematically over the period of some time in a way which you enjoy.
Find a system which you can effectively over a period of time. Find effective methods you can use systematically over the period of time in a way which you enjoy.
And this is how polyglots learn languages within months.
And this is how polyglots learn languages within months.
Not years.
Not years.
Now some of you may be thinking that's all very nice to enjoy language learning, but isn't the real secret that you polyglots are just super talented and most of us aren't?
That's nice. When it comes to learning a language, find an enjoyment in the process, but that isn't the only secret you polyglots learn English so fluently and effectively. Now, some of you may thinking that's all very nice to enjoy language learning, but isn't the real secret that you polyglots are just super talented, or most of us aren't?
Well, there's one thing I haven't told you about Benny and Lucas.
Well, there's one thing I haven't told you about. There's one thing I haven't told you about.
Benny had 11 years of Irish Gaelic and 5 years of German at school.
Benny had 11 years Irish Gaelic and 5 years German at school.
Couldn't speak them at all when graduating.
Couldn't speak them at all when graduating.
Up to the age of 21, he thought he didn't have the language gene and he could not speak another language.
Up to when he turned 21, he thought he had no gene to learn a language. Up to the age of 21, he thought he didn't have the language gene, and he could not speak another language.
Then he started to look for his way of learning languages.
Then he started to look for a way of his. Then he started to look for his way of learning languages,
which was speaking to native speakers. And getting feedback from them. Today, Benny can easily have a conversation in 10 languages.
And today, Benny can easily have a conversation in 10 languages.
Lucas tried to learn English at school for 10 years. He was one of the worst students in class.
He was one of the worst students in class.
His friends even made fun of him. Gave him a Russian textbook as a joke because they thought he would never learn that language.
His friends also made fun of him, giving him Russian language textbook, thinking that he would never learn the language. His friends even made fun of him and gave him a Russian textbook as a joke because they thought he would never learn the language or any language.
And then Lucas started to experiment with methods, looking for his own way to learn.
And then Lucas started experimenting with this method, looking for his way to learn. And then Lucas started to experiment with method, looking for his own way to learn.
For example, by having Skype chat conversations with strangers.
With strangers.
And after just 10 years, Lucas is able to speak 11 languages fluently.
And after just 10 years, Lucas is able to speak 11 languages fluently.
Does that sound like a miracle? Well, I see such miracles every single day.
I see such miracles every single day.
As a language mentor, I help people learn languages by themselves.
As a language mentor, I help language learners learn languages by themselves. I help people learn languages by themselves.
And I see this every day.
People
struggled with language learning for 5, 10, even 20 years.
People struggle with the language learning for 5, 10, or even 20 years.
And then they suddenly take the learning into their own hands. Start using materials which they enjoy, more effective methods.
Study with the effective materials which they enjoy. Start using materials which they enjoy, more effective methods, or
they start tracking their learning so that they can appreciate their own progress.
And they start tracking their learning so that they can appreciate the improvements, or they start tracking their learning so that they can appreciate their own progress.
And that's when suddenly they magically find the language talent that they were missing all their lives.
And they suddenly and magically find the magic. And that's when suddenly and magically find the language talent that they're missing all their lives.
So if you've also tried to learn a language and you gave up thinking it's too difficult or you don't have the language talent, Give it another try.
So if you want to learn a language and you think you find yourself failing every time you try, and you think that you have no language talents, give it a try. So if you've also tried to learn a language and you give up, thinking it's too difficult or don't have the language talent, give it another try.
Maybe you're also just one enjoyable method away from learning the language fluently.
Maybe there will be a way that you can enjoy what? Maybe you're also just one enjoyable method away. You're also just one enjoyable method away from learning the language fluently.
Maybe you're just one method away from becoming a polyglot.
Maybe you're just one method away from becoming a polyglot. You're just one method away from becoming a polyglot.